We are living in a world of technology. It has become an integral part of our society, our homes, and our everyday lives. It has affected the way we communicate, the way we socialize, and more importantly, the way we live. Social media continues to demonstrate its impact on nearly 3 billion users and the global network. 5 billion people own a mobile phone, and nearly 60% of the population has access to the internet. A seemingly unstoppable industry, part of an efficient modern world, built for comfort and leisure. It is, however, a very delicate world, built upon a fragile power network. 70% of its components are already over 25 years old. If the grid is compromised, the effects could be disastrous. But a cosmic phenomenon could make this a reality.
So a coronal mass ejection is an expulsion of material from the sun. Not all solar flares produce a CME, but many of them do, especially the big flares.
Professor Michael Wheatland is a solar astrophysicist at the University of Sydney, studying the physical nature of the sun in extreme solar events.
CMEs do have magnetic fields in them and currents associated with them, which can produce electromagnetic forces on other conducting objects. They can cause damage at the Earth. It has happened in the past.
In September of 1859, the Earth was struck by a CME, triggering the largest geomagnetic storm in history.
They caused damage to the telegraph system, so individual people got shocks using the telegraph systems that they were using. There were enhanced aurora on the Earth. I think the aurora were observed down to really low latitudes, close to the equator. So these tremendous changes were produced in the Earth's magnetic field. If you like, it's an example of the worst possible solar event. And so we're concerned about what might happen today if one of those events occurred.
How would a CME affect our world today? A world now dependent on electrical power to survive.
If there was a really big CME that directly impacted the Earth of the scale of the Carrington event today with our current technological society, then it could do tens of billions of dollars worth of damage. The CMEs, they can damage satellites. We lose the GPS capability, and that's used for a lot of things.
Wireless communication services go offline around the world.
Now, electricity grids are circuits at ground level, and so you'll get large currents in those circuits due to the changes in the magnetic field that are produced by the CME, and that can short out the various electronics in those electricity grids.
Are you serious?
Cities begin to lose power. Sudden loss of electrical power brings the world to a screeching halt. Millions are now in darkness. Hospitals are now without electricity, and some are lacking sufficient backup systems. Those dependent on life support machines will immediately be at risk. The satellite breakdown has made any form of electronic communication impossible. No one is able to access their online bank accounts or can withdraw money. Credit cards become unusable, as do mobile phones, unable to be recharged. Trade and economy collapse. No one is able to buy food. Water and gas supply systems are no longer available, and people are resorting to desperate measures to survive. Crime skyrockets. Stores and homes are looted relentlessly, and riots burn throughout the lightless streets. Emergency services become infrequent and unresponsive. In this frightening and dangerous new world, government begins to collapse. And with that, there is only one option: martial law. As the city descends into chaos, the military steps in to quell the situation. As cities lie barren, the population is moved to rural, agricultural areas. Farmland is confiscated by the army as a way to feed the starving masses. They are forced to acquire the energy they need through war. With the economy in shambles, supply of energy is scarce and heavily restricted. As time goes on, the coming winter has taken its toll. Without sufficient food or medicine, millions have starved to death. Hope of survival is bleak, and recovery seems impossible. The destruction of our fragile power network could potentially leave our society in ruins. We have become firmly attached to a world that is always moving and evolving. Solar analysts have recognized the danger of a major CME, as well as Dr. Alpha Mistrano, who reconstructs solar models to help predict this cosmic activity.
Events like solar flares and CMEs do have effects on Earth, and those effects can be significant, especially to communications network and so on. What I do is reconstruct and model these magnetic fields in the sun based on satellite data. But we don't exactly know the strengths. We don't know the quantities involved in the magnetic field. But we do know magnetic field strength at the surface of the sun. So what I do is reconstruct the field above the surface of the sun based on the data from the surface of the sun, and then see if they match with reality.
The probability of a Carrington event occurring tomorrow is quite small. So these events occur about every 500 years or so. But they do happen, they do occur. And so we need to improve our ability to forecast them, to be prepared for them, and we need to improve our ability to deal with them when they do occur.